بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين.
Let's start with a case. So a case is basically any patient. So just start with a 57-year-old. I picked 57, it's middle age. Depending on how old that person is, you can adjust your middle age. When we were 30, I always thought that 50 is very old. When I became 50, I saw 50 is still young. So that's how it is. The hormones, they protect up till age 50, 55, and when they lose hormones, after which men and women, their risk of heart disease is almost the same. So, like we said, what are the risk factors for heart disease? Smoking, hypertension, high cholesterol, and the leading cause of death in men is heart disease. The average age of, this is really interesting story, I will tell you, that many of us are immigrants. Many of us are immigrants, right? We are from all over the world, and when we come to the United States, all the studies which are done are basically done on Caucasians. If you have a combination of smoking and a bad diet and a little bit overweight, you are at a high risk for death. You know. When Japan, the risk of heart disease is very low. But as we leave our countries and come here, because of our lifestyle, because of our food and all those things, our risk of heart disease almost becomes equal to Caucasian. So like I said, average age of heart attack for men, Caucasian men is 66 years old. So you'll be surprised that South Asians, people from Bangladesh, India and Pakistan, they have their first heart attack at age 40. 40% will have at age 40, and 50% will have at age 50. How can we reverse heart disease? Okay, well, the good point. Heart disease cannot be really reversed, but it could be halted. If you develop heart disease and somebody has developed plaquing or have built up a plaque in the coronary arteries, you can stop it to grow. But total reversal is not possible. So the best thing is prevention. We have to focus on prevention. So my whole thrust today will be to talk about prevention, how we can prevent heart disease. So the prevention of heart disease starts from a very young age. Heart disease is not an age, it's a disease of old age. It is a disease of young age. So in North Korean War, when young people were dying, young soldiers, 19-year-old and so forth, they were dying, they will get autopsy. So when they will get autopsy, they noted that 10% of 19-year-old soldiers, they will have one artery 99% blocked. 19 years old. So it doesn't start when you're age 50 or 60. It starts when we start out of love and affection, feeding our children Burger King and McDonald's and taking them to Wendy's. That is bad news. And I think as mothers and as fathers, we need to put a stop in those activities. We are out of love and affection, especially when people they're affluent. They have money, they don't have a problem with spending that type of money, and it's easy way of satisfaction and getting your son or daughter out of your line, out of your way. Okay, let's take her to McDonald's and then they have a good time and you can do whatever you need to do. So it starts from the beginning. Secondly is you have to get into a habit of exercise. So how much exercise is needed every day? Okay, very good. that's acceptable. But even if you do as little as 30 minutes a day, as little as 30, you don't have to lift weights, and just walking, just simple walking, and I can give you more discount, even if you do 150 minutes. So that means 150 minutes a week, you know. So that comes out to be like 5 times a week. You can dodge a considerable amount of risk which is posed by these things. If you stop smoking, smoking is another really easy, low-hanging fruit which we can do. And if somebody is a smoker in the family, please work on the person. There's no need to kind of make them feel that they're totally out of line. Many people have started smoking when they were very little. By the way, all the tobacco companies have moved to the third world countries. So the fourth thing is diabetes. You can go to your doctor by a very simple test. You can get screened and know if you have diabetes or not. There's a simple blood sugar test. If you have seen somebody at home who are, or in the family, learn to read the labels. Food labels, they should be, one should try to read those labels. 60 to 100 grams of carbohydrates. One should try to focus on that. And generally speaking, all the breads. So what are carbohydrates? Can anybody say what is a carbohydrate?
Potato bread.
Here you go, very good. Potatoes, all the white stuff, anything which is white, or which you can make a paste with a fork, like pasta, like bread, like flour. If you can somehow hold your carbohydrate intake, you can actually halt the progression of weight, therefore diabetes, therefore your heart disease. We all have some form of heart disease, even in this room. Everybody has different levels of heart disease. We have somebody has just beginning, somebody has a little more than that, and so on and so forth. So one should consider that if we live long enough, we will all have some degree of heart disease. So, and with that premises in mind, one should always try to consider these options which I just mentioned. So fresh fruits and vegetables, not only they produce, they provide a lot of good nutrients, but also they maintain your carbohydrate intake. If you, I'm not a salesman for Bullet or anything like that, but I'll just share with you those Vitamix or those blenders. If you use them, you open your fridge, whatever green you can see, just throw it in there, and put some water and put a little bit of fruit to make it to your taste, and you drink it, you will feel the difference in how you feel that day. Again, this is just plain fruits and vegetables. Eating a lot of them is sort of difficult, like especially in the morning breakfast, but you can use that as a meal replacement. Like when you are having a big meal, you're planning a big meal, somebody else, a friend has called you, just before going there you have a glass of that, then you'll eat less, I mean, you'll still enjoy your meal, but maybe you'll not finish the whole dish. You know. Again, portion size is important. I would suggest that there are, if you look at a standard dinner plate, the dinner plate has got 2 servings. One is again a question. Reduce your sodium intake, take vitamin E, take folic acid, or all of the above. All of the above? No, it's the first one actually, reduce sodium intake. So sodium is not a good thing. Again, this has become a new cholesterol of this year, these times. Remember, cholesterol becomes the bad guy. Now sodium is the bad guy because we have learned that it causes a lot of heart disease. Eventually causes blood pressure and so on. So what are the simple things you can do? Don't eat these TV dinners. We don't generally, but all these things from the cans, try not to eat. Buy fresh. Fresh is better than buying things from the things. Or ready-made foods, they are not good. So I will be careful because they have got a lot of sodium content. If you look at the picture here, this tube which you can see here, this is the tube which goes from the groin, which goes all the way to the heart, and this is the tip of the catheter, and this is the wire which we put when people have heart attacks. The arteries get shut, and the wire goes inside, and then it opens up, and we thread a balloon on top of it, and that's all. So this is where this thing got blocked, and we put in this wire down, and then you'll see after which we put a balloon, and that will open up the artery. You see this, how simple of a technique it is. So this was made by, this was developed by a German 40-year-old young man who used to do experiments on his cats. See that this artery is blocked here, and this wire went in, and this is the balloon we put in. Just a little balloon. It is made up of plastic, and there's a little water which is pumped in from outside, and this balloon expands. And as it expands, it opens up the artery. Yeah, the brother has made a comment that people who work at night, especially shift work in the factories and nursing staff, or in the airports and places like that at night, they have a high risk of diabetes and heart disease. And he, according to his understanding, it is melatonin. Actually, there is more to melatonin. Melatonin, as you all know, this is a hormone which is produced in the brain, and it is sensitive to light. So when there is light, the hormone the level goes down. As soon as the light goes down, the melatonin comes in, and that's how we can sleep. So, but what you buy from the shelf, that's the same melatonin. So, but there are more important things. People have learned that stress on the body can have profound effects on heart disease particularly. So they've learned that people in a week, when they are ready to go to work, like on a Sunday, people are getting a little edgy because Monday they are going to go to work. They've learned that on Monday there is a number of heart attacks goes up on Monday. So because of the stress. And then they teased out further, they found that not only on Monday, if Monday is a holiday, then the heart attacks will be on Tuesday, because the next day will be on the working day will be Tuesday. All right, so then they figured out that what would be the time when you have the most heart attacks. The most heart attacks occur at 4 a.m. That's when many appendicitis, many diseases are time related. That's also a time. So coming back to your question, 4 o'clock, there's a thermostat in the brain which produces a lot of cortisol. Cortisol and epinephrine and things like that. When you're sleeping, our body kind of balances out, and these hormones are released at night, early morning. So by 7 o'clock, you're ready. When you wake up, you're ready to take on the world. You are more energetic, and they are your flight and fight hormones. So if you sleep during the daytime and you work during the nighttime, your machinery is kind of upside down. So yes, you'll be more prone to many diseases, not only heart disease, but a lot of diseases. And they have learned that shift work actually reduces the life expectancy, as opposed to if you work during the normal time. Very, very good question. So, what is the relationship of a number of hours with sleep and disease process? So, people they have learned that as the number of hours we sleep is going down, in the United States, the number of hours we sleep is going down, and the risk of obesity is going up. So, and obesity and heart disease, it goes up. So if you sleep less than 5 hours, the risk of heart disease goes up. So basically that curve is going up, the heart disease curve is going up, and the sleep number of hours is going down. So less than 5 hours is not optimal. The sleep should be at least 6 to 7 hours, preferably 7 hours. The other interesting thing is that people who sleep more than 8 hours, they also die up. Their death rate goes up. So all these young people, I start seeing that they're getting a little anxious. But it is mostly because they have other diseases going on, like cancer and some other diseases. So they die of non-cardiac causes. But if you sleep less than 5 hours, then there's more risk of developing heart disease and things like that. So yes, sleep is very important. Sleep and breakfast. Sleep, breakfast, lack of stop smoking, no alcohol, maintain your weight, and have regular visits to the doctors. These are some of the pillars of good health. Not only heart health, but all sorts of other aspects of it. And so, regarding the first question, I think this is a very good question. Everybody drinks coffee and tea and things like that. So really, in coffee and tea, I'll talk about coffee first. And we've learned that 4 cups or more, if you drink more than 4 cups of coffee, you can increase your blood pressure and have a high risk of with the blood pressure, you can have some heart disease. However, in females, drinking coffee actually is protective for stroke. I don't know how this relationship is, but that's what they've learned. More than 4 cups is considered a lot of coffee with the studies which have been done. More than 4 cups. So it all depends on. I think your other concern would be what type of coffee. I cannot answer that question, but generally speaking, 4 cups is where I will draw the limit. But you must remember that anything in moderation, that's our Prophet's way of doing things. Anything is to do things in moderation. Anything you can get away. You can get with a cheesecake Monday in the time in moderation. So regarding milk, milk is again, brother was asking whether 2% or fat-free and things like that. If you go by what we recommend, it is fat-free or 2% is a good idea. However, personally, I think whole milk in small amount is not a bad idea. But one should understand that if you don't have other problems, if you are not taking care of your high blood pressure, you're not taking care of diabetes, and then you say, well, Dr. Shakoor said go ahead and have whole milk, that would be bad news. So if you are maintaining all other things, and then if you have a whole milk, not in gallons, but in a normal consumption, that would be fine. Your other question was regarding, I think it's really a good question to ask, that many brothers go to the emergency room, and they go, or with their loved ones, they go to the emergency room with the chest pain, and the doctors, they run some tests, and then they come back and say, everything is fine, and then you still are worried. Like I said to you, that people can still have normal hearts, and they can still have heart disease, heart attack. That is a correct statement. The way as heart doctors we diagnose a heart attack is by 3 things. One is we talk to the patient and listen to what they say. Well, typical heart pain, like I had shown you, could be anywhere from the ear lobule to your navel. That is fair game. You can have it. However, like I treated one of my heart patients, only problem he has, but his pain was in his both forearms. He had no chest pain, but he was having a heart attack. However, he also was very nauseating, he was sweating, and you can see the sense of doom in his face. When I took him to the heart lab, his one artery was blocked. So, although by normal definition, he didn't fit. So there are always oddballs, but when we listen to the patient, we have a good sense, generally, that this person is in trouble or not. I don't know if he has heart attack or not, but I can say with reasonable certainty that this person is in trouble. The second thing which we make our determination is the EKG, the ECG. Remember they pull all these leads. By the way, if you ever had an EKG ever done in your life, please take a copy and keep it with yourself. It's always a good idea to have an EKG. And if you really want to be smart, just make a photocopy, shrink it and make like a credit card copy, laminate it and keep it in your wallet. Great idea. I always encourage my patients to do that. So EKG is a second important thing to use. The third important thing is the blood work. We go and ask the doctor from the draw blood work, and if the blood work comes twice, there is no injury, the enzyme is not up, then we can safely say, well, you don't have a heart attack. But those are three things which are pretty good. I would say 99% or 98% of the time. If these three things are negative, you are in good shape. Yes, you can still have one blocked artery, and all these things could be negative. That is true. And that's why you should follow up whatever they said, to see your heart doctor and so on and so forth. So follow up with the doctor. That's very. Thank you for a very good question. You see, even when you are you're standing in salat, and we can sometimes smell each other's breath. You're so close, and it's a good thing. But often our dental hygiene is so bad that we need to look after that very big problem. We have learned that I just mentioned high cholesterol and diet and not exercising and all those things. If you put everything on one side and dental health on one side, dental health is more dangerous than all those things. So what do you mean by dental health? First of all, you have to floss every night. If you go to a dentist, they will tell you to floss after you eat every meal. And if somebody is following saying namaz, salat 5 times a day, he is covered. If he properly spends some time in cleaning their mouth, they are pretty much covered. And if they do maswak, that's even better. But at least a floss is something which you should do every night for sure, and after you eat. So dental, what happens is all diseases, including cancer, diabetes, heart disease, come from inflammation. So what is inflammation? Remember when you have a bad knee and it gets swollen and red? That inflammation is the cause of almost all diseases. That is a thinking these days, how we think. And what happens is when all the food and debris and the sweets which are left in your teeth, in between your teeth, at night, all the germs, they come and they party, and that they have a feast in your mouth. And while having a feast, they release a lot of substances which are dangerous to the gums. So it's basically your gum disease. There's inflammation in the gums. The same germs, they are running in your blood, and germs don't do much. We live with germs all the time. Our mouth is full of germs, our nose is full of germs, and our gut is full of germs. What happens is when they attack the tissue, they release certain teeth substances. And body reacts to those germs and releases substances. Those substances are injurious to us. And so you have to cut down the inflammation. And gum disease is very important. Everybody should look after their gum. Best thing is, go to your dentist 6 times, over 6 months, at least twice a month. But other than that, wash your gums when you are doing wuzu. Spend some time on your teeth, you know. And Dr. Al-Hadri is asking that vaccine for heart attacks. We are not there yet. Hopefully, my vaccine doesn't work. My vaccine is exercise. If exercise was a pill, nobody will have heart disease. I shouldn't say that. A lot of people exercising, people can say, but it's a great idea. Have you come around anything?
No, they were talking about now for coronary artery disease.
I see. Yeah, there's a lot of talk, but there's no any conclusive. They're spoken about gene therapy and stem cell therapy, which you may have heard about stem cell therapy. That people talk about stem cell, just a few words. So when the baby is born, it is born from a single cell, and all the cells are generated, all the organs are generated from the same cell. But those cells are still dormant in our body, and people take those cells and they make them grow, and then they take those cells and put them in different organs of the body, like heart and pancreas and so on. And they start producing the same tissue where they are injected. And because they have the memory and they have all the receptors to grow those cells, and heart, if you inject those cells in heart, the heart tissue will start developing. So that is out there, and there's a very positive response to that. A lot of work is done.
What about the brain?
Brain, you see, the neurons cannot be generated so far. If you cut a nerve, it can repair, but it cannot regrow. This is one of the organs which cannot regrow. We have seen people having a stroke, and over time they start to improve slowly. Like if they have one time you see somebody, his left side or right side is not working at all. But over time, he will go to physical therapy and it will start to work slowly and slowly. So how that works is that the brain is extremely smart organ, and it has been built in such an amazing way that each neuron is the function of each neuron, or each function is being done by many millions of neurons. So one area dies, the other area will pick up, but it will have to be trained over time. The neurons have to be trained to do the same function. So they recover, but that neuron which died never really recovers. A function can recover from recruiting other neurons, other routes, but not the same. The brother has asked, what is the relationship of eating late during the day, and then you go to sleep, after calling back home for 1 hour, and then you go to sleep, right? That's what we do normally. Well, what happens is that when we eat food at any time, about 30 minutes or so, our blood sugar is at top. Everything is to do with blood sugar. So blood sugar goes very high, and right at that time, you fall asleep. You're watching TV, and then in 30 minutes, you had a big dinner, and then you are gone. So what will happen is that the blood sugar will stay right up there. If you are a normal, if you don't have diabetes, you don't have pre-diabetes, everything will go down nicely and it will be fine. But if you have any such problem, blood sugar will not go down. And in a daily routine, when you have lunch, after 1 hour lunch, you go to your work and you walk and you burn all the glucose. But you will not be able to burn the glucose while sleeping. So that will stay in your system for a longer period of time. And if you're doing it day in and day out, you're going to hurt yourself. So that will be the mechanism that you're not able to utilize whatever you just ate. Yes, if you walk for about an hour or so after that, which mostly we don't. In fact, it's a very good question. If you are going to space by chance, anyone of you guys are going to space, please take aspirin along with you. Or if you're planning to go to the desert, you should take aspirin along with you. Because aspirin is one wonder medication. You do so many things. You go to doctors, There are very few things you'll be surprised that doctors do which actually improve the longevity. All things like if you go for treatment of like a common cold, if you suppose don't get that treatment done, you are not going to die. However, if you have heart disease and you take aspirin, actually that will improve your longevity. You will live longer. Aspirin actually improves the longevity by 23%. So if you have two groups of people, 100 people in this side who have heart attack who didn't get aspirin, and on this side there are 100 people who get aspirin, the people who will get aspirin, they will live 23% longer. 23% of people will be living longer than those people. If you can't take it, then if you don't have diabetes, then grape juice, that dark grape, that Welch's, that Paul Newman's, that picture, that juice is as good as aspirin, the grape juice. People say that the advantage of alcohol, which people have really made it such a big deal, actually you have heard that drinking wine or that helps in heart disease. But there is some truth to that, but we think that that advantage comes from the skin of the grapes. It doesn't, alcohol part of the wine or alcohol doesn't protect heart. It is the skin of the grapes which protect. So you don't have to drink, please. So you can eat grapes. If people talk about it, that's something which could be very easily. So you're not missing out anything if you eat grapes. So that's something you can do. It is as good as aspirin, by the way.
The aspirin, how many milligram?
Yeah, there are two types of aspirin available in the United States. One is 81 milligram, which we say baby aspirin. The other one is 325, actually 324 milligrams. So that is adult aspirin. 81 baby aspirin is just fine. After food, you can take it. It's a very good thing to do.
If someone allergic to the aspirin, is there any other alternative?
Right. Yes, there are alternatives. But if somebody is allergic to aspirin, there are two types of allergies. If somebody is really allergic to aspirin, that he stops breathing and has to get epinephrine or really bad type of problem, then they should go to the allergist. They have a way to desensitize those people. But if you don't want to go that route, there are medication like Plavix and clopidogrel. They are like very potent aspirin. You can take that and it will not cause any allergic reaction. People with ulcer, we see patients with ulcers, so we give them coated aspirin. There is called enteric coated aspirin. Okay. So we give them that, or we tell them to take it with food, or sometimes if they still can't take it, like 3 times a week. Or like I said, grape juice is a good alternative. Okay. Pomegranate juice is an excellent source of antioxidants. It has got so many antioxidants that one of the very powerful, and actually there is a study which has been done in America which has shown that taking 1 glass of pomegranate juice is as good as taking some of the heart medication, and actually improves the flow of the arteries, and that has been shown in the studies. So that's really a very powerful. The problem is sometimes is that mostly heart patients have diabetes, so they cannot take it. But in any form, you can use pills as well. There are pomegranate pills that are also available. And the same thing is with the grape juice. The grape juice is a really very good source for preventing diabetes. So you can take grape juice in the juice form or in the pill form or eat it. So in any shape you take, you will reap the benefit from diabetes, prevention of diabetes. He mentioned that people who take a lot of juices, and I think whenever I go to Middle East, there is a taking orange juice and mango juice is no problem, but juices are really bad thing to do, There's a lot of sugar in it, and they are especially to the children. So I will stay away from these orange juice and all they think it's very healthy, but it is not. So please avoid all this. You should drink water or lemonade. You can lemon has a lot of advantages. So I will just stick with that, and lemonade, which has got tons of sugar, not that kind. Make it at home. There's so much citrus in Arizona. Madhuri very rightfully saying that, especially rights from the kids, taking juice that builds up your desire from the beginning, and then when you grow up, you continue drinking all these things. So juice is really bad news. I fully agree with you. And like he has suggested, putting cucumber or some mint or a lemon in it, and just drinking that rather than all these fancy from stores. I would avoid those. So if somebody is really having a heart attack, first of all, try to get some help. So help could be if you're in a place where you can call 911 or call ambulance easily, call them. If you have anybody, friend, brother, whoever, or even if he's not here, just call them. At least somebody knows that something is happening. And then you can, if the pain is, and take aspirin right away. Number 3 is you can, if the pain is not getting better, you can cough violently. By coughing violently, people can improve. What happens is that the diaphragm goes down and the flow does improve. And if there's a clot which is stuck in the artery, that can unclog or it can move forward, and you can get some relief from the pain. The pain of heart attack is so immense, like they claim like an elephant sitting on the chest, like a real elephant. Think about it. So the pain of heart attack is really severe. So those are some of the things you can do on your own. And if you are with somebody who's having a heart attack and he suddenly, by the way, everybody should learn BLS. You know what? Basic life support. It's many places it's free. Learn how to help somebody. It's very simple. Maybe we can set up a course someday here. CPR basically. So it's very simple. These days there's no mouth to mouth, so you don't have to do that. So just start pushing as fast as you can, and that will save more lives. So if you are in a room or nobody there and you think somebody's having a heart attack, you will do the same thing, get help, give him aspirin, open his airway. If he has had a big dinner, put him on one side of his face so he doesn't aspirate because he's vomiting a little bit. So just make him, I had a patient who died because he aspirated. He had a big meal and he came to the hospital. While we were waiting to take him to the lab, he had a big vomiting and he aspirated everything, and he died of aspiration and not of heart attack. He died. So put him on one side if somebody throws up, so everything goes on one side, and then if he stops breathing, then start doing CPR till the help arrive. And those are some of the things one can do to get by.